In this video, we're having a look at the Mova P50 Pro Ultra Vacuum and Mop. Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. Now, very quick note before we get really stuck into this. You do have to pay attention to the name of the product because there is actually a P50 Pro and P50 Pro Ultra. This is the Ultra one. The main difference is that this one has detachable mops, and it's also got it'll automatically add the cleaning solution if you're going to be using cleaning solution. Otherwise, I think the specs are relatively the same. So let's get into some of the features and functions of this robot vacuum clean and mop. To begin with, price. So normal price for this is $2,499, so $2,500 roughly. At the moment, it is on sale at JB Hi-Fi. Today is the 21st of June. Happy winter solstice if you are in the southern hemisphere. It is on sale at the moment for $17.49 at JB and a couple of other places. So I don't know how long that sale will last, but that's where we are on price. In terms of specs and functionality, this has got loads of features and functions and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. In terms of the actual vacuum cleaner part of it, it's got a 19,000 PA powered vacuum. Not sure what that means exactly, but apparently that's a lot. So it's very powerful in terms of sucking stuff up. A few things with the vacuum. It's got a little brush on the side. And what's really nice, it's got a little arm that comes out on the side, so it can actually get into corners and clean that up really easy. So in terms of getting to the dirt, that little arm that comes out from the side, I think is quite useful and quite helpful. Other sort of vacuum cleaning stuff is that it's got non-hair sticking stuff. So it's got functions built in there to try and avoid hair getting stuck in the rollers and so on and so forth. Then in terms of the mopping functions, it will allow you it'll automatically lift the mops up when it goes on carpet. And this is one of the really clever things, is that there's a lot of computer learning involved in this. So it will know whether it's on carpet or whether it's on floor. And if it's on floor, it'll mop. And if it's not on floor, it'll actually lift the mops up. There is a feature in this one with the Ultra one that you can tell it that if you know that it's definitely just going to go and vacuum the carpet, you can actually tell it to leave the mops behind in the dock. In terms of features of the dock, I think that's one of the really cool things about all of these robot vacuum cleaners is that the dock automates a lot of features and functions for you, which make it a lot more sort of, I suppose for lack of a better term, hands off for you, at least for a few weeks. So for example, you've got two big tanks in there for water. One you put in clean water and it will automatically take the dirty water from when it's mopped and it'll empty that out into the dirty water tank. And whilst not huge tanks, you probably only have to empty those out. Obviously, it depends on how often you clean and how big your floor is and all that kind of stuff, but you don't have to empty it out for a few weeks at least. But then you also have the dustbin bag, so the dust bag and all that kind of stuff, so it'll automatically empty itself out into that dust bag. And there is a little thing on the side there as well, which allows you to put in cleaning solution. Nice little touch with this model is that it did ship with one little bottle of cleaning solution. It doesn't normally, you've got to get more cleaning solution as that runs out, and they do always recommend to only use the manufacturer's cleaning solution. Up to you if you do or you don't. I don't like taking chances, so I probably will just stick with the company's cleaning solution, but that's entirely up to you. The other features of the dock, which is pretty amazing, is that it will clean and dry the mops for you during its cleaning. So what the robot will do, it'll go off and start mopping, and then once it's detected that the mops are kind of as dirty as it's willing to let them get, it will go back to the docking station and it will, first of all, clean them with hot water. I think the water gets up to 75 degrees Celsius, that's not boiling, but it's pretty darn scalding. And then it'll use these blowers that go up to 45 degrees Celsius to dry the mops as well. So again, less likely to, be dirty for a long bit of time, and it sort of self-cleans, which is really, really clever. So those are some of the dock functions. Now let's have a look at some of the functions that you have in the app. And the app is really where all of these types of things really shine. And the amount of features and functions and things that you can do, the mind boggles in terms of how customizable this whole thing is. So for example, at the moment you can see that the battery's at 59% up at the top left hand corner. It's returning to actually wash the mops because I pushed the wrong button just before while I was recording this. But yeah, so you set this up really easily in the app. There's a little QR code, just a little flap on the robot. You flip it up, scan the QR code, puts the robot in there. So let's go and have a look at how this all works. The first time you get it up and running, it will go out and scan your whole house. It'll scan the floor. So you can see that is where the dock is, down there in the center, and at the moment it's cleaning the mops and adding some water because, as I mentioned, I pushed the wrong button. But there you can see it's scanned and created the living room. You can see when it's found objects or there's something going on. So, for example, it noticed that there was a liquid stain there on the floor, so it went and did that area over a few times. Nice thing with this model is it actually has a camera built in. So if I go into there, it'll actually show me a photo of where it thought the dirty area was, so I can see what it was trying to clean up, which is pretty darn cool. It'll also see if there's obstacles. So, for example, there you can see there's an obstacle, and again, it'll show me what the obstacle was, and recognition. And you can send feedback, and you can tell it to ignore obstacles. So it's all automated, but you can customize it and tell it yes, no, don't do this, do that, all that kind of stuff. So that is the way that it scans the whole house. There's a lot of things that you can do here in terms of viewing this or accessing it in different ways. So if I just tap this little button in the top right-hand corner, you can see there that I can rotate the map. I can have different furniture. Oh, I'm going to add a furniture icon. That's cool. And then you can also see this in 3D, which is pretty nifty. So there is a scan of my floor area in 3D, and you can just zoom in. You can see different stuff. You can move things around. That's actually, so it's seen the dining room table. It's seen where the couches are. Now it thinks one of our other couches is a wall, but that's fine. I don't mind. It's because I've sort of blocked that area off. But yeah, come on, that's pretty nifty. And it just uses all the scanning stuff and that kind of stuff to see all that. So loads of things you can do in there. You can rename things. I'm actually just going to go put this back to 2D just because I prefer the 2D one. But you can set it to clean only a specific room or clean only a specific area as well. Like you can actually highlight a specific area and say where you want it to clean and all that kind of stuff. In terms of other settings that you can do, have a look here. So you've got cleaning history, schedule cleanup, carpet settings. If we go into carpet settings, for example, we can go mop raise. We can say mop detach. So again, with the Ultra model, it can leave the mops behind so that even if the mops are just a little bit moist, that little bit of moisture won't get onto the carpets. So that's pretty cool. You can tell it to clean carpets first. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. You can see them on the screen right now. But as you can see, loads of functions. You've then got claw. You've got floor cleaning options. You got AI mop extended settings. You've got dock settings. So again, you can tell it how often. A really nice feature that I like about the dock setting is you can set a schedule for when it charges the robot. Now that might not seem, I actually don't think that's in the dock settings. I think that's somewhere else. Maybe it's more functions. There we go. So off-peak charging. So what I like about this is, so for example, we've got solar and we've got a battery for our house as well. So if at all possible, we generally try and not take power from the grid ever if we can avoid it. We can't during winter, but during the summer we definitely can. So I can set the robot to only charge when we're either getting solar or, when we're not going to have stuff coming in from the battery. So little things like that, being able to customize things so much is really, really useful. So that is a quick look at some of the features and functions of the app. Loads more things you can do in there, but I don't want to cover everything. The app is really, really good. Oh, the other thing to mention with the app, before we get off the app, is you can actually remote into the camera into the robot. Now, you might think, why would I want to do that? Well, first of all, you might just want to creep out your kids. That's always an option. But where it's actually practical and useful is that if the robot gets stuck, let's say, on a obstacle or something like that, you can actually get into the camera and see where the obstacle is, see what the obstacle is, and you can actually, on the bottom left-hand side of the settings windows, when you're remote to it with the camera, you can actually remote move the robot. So if you know that, I just need to turn it a little bit and then move it that way, it'll get unstuck and so on. If you're not at home, that feature could actually be really, really useful. So yeah, all the stuff in here, the app thoroughly impressed. I think it does, you know, everything and more in terms of all the features and functions that you want. The app and the ability to access it and customize all that stuff, I think is really where a lot of these robot vacuum cleaners shine. You do also have voice control, so you can say, hey, whoever your assistant is, Alexa, Siri, what have you, do the cleaning. No, I wasn't talking. No, shh, no, I wasn't talking to you, Siri. Please go away. She's so needy. Yeah, so that you can do the voice assistants, all that sort of stuff. So that is a look at some of the apps and features and functions. Now let's have a look at how the robot actually performs. So I did a little test in my kitchen. If you've seen my previous other brand robot, I didn't put sweet sticky soy sauce on the floor this time, which I think is probably a good move. So I just put some water down, I put some salt, I put some caster sugar, I put a shoe, and I put a cable down so I could see how it dealt with obstacles and things like that. It did a bang up job. So it saw the cable, didn't go over the cable, so that's good. It saw the shoe, went around the shoe. I really like, again, the arm coming out with a little brush, but also the mop on the right-hand side comes out as well to mop in corners, but that it uses it very cleverly to go around obstacles to kind of still be able to get the mop to mop as much as possible around the obstacle without disturbing the actual obstacle. It also does a really good job when it comes to going underneath our dining room table. So our dining room table, all those chair legs, it's quite a bit of a maze, and I think that's a really good test for most of these robot vacuum cleaners in regards to how well it navigates that little maze under the table, and it does a bang up job. So in terms of how it actually performs, I think it does a stellar job. The one little thing that I've noticed where it's not perfect is I have found sometimes when it's mopping a floor that's right next to a carpet, it turns around just to get back onto the floor, and in that instance, because it's not going onto the carpet, it doesn't raise the mop, so the mops do touch the carpet just a little bit. Not a major, it's not going to be a big issue, but I would prefer if it was smart enough to know, hey, my mops are down, I'm turning around. When I turn around, those mops are at my back. They're going to be touching the carpet a little bit. Again, not a big issue, but it is something that I think it could be a bit smarter about. And that is something that I think they can fix in firmware, you know, to do a firmware update to be a bit smarter about it. It does also have a light, which I found quite interesting. So I think that helps with the camera. So in terms of when it gets to a room where the lights might be off and it's not that bright. So for example, our bathrooms, you know, obviously there's a skylight in them, but they can be a bit dark during the day. So it turns the light on if it's in a dark situation. The other thing is that the sensor array on the top sometimes means that it can't go under some of our furniture. Like if that sensor array was a little bit lower, it would be able to go under the furniture, but you know, physics, it is what it is. So that was my look at the Mova P50 Pro Ultra. Now, it's certainly a fair chunk of change to purchase this unit, but in terms of all the features and functions and value you get in this, I think overall, if you're in the market in that price range, the Mova P50 Pro Ultra is definitely one worth looking at. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was useful. If you have found it helpful or useful, please like and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much for your support, and we'll catch you in the next one. Safe and happy mopping. You thought I was going to say safe and happy sucking. Well, I didn't, except I just did. So there's that. Really good. It's really good. Oh. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's think a little bit more. And okay, how do we want to start? Okay, like we've got all the information in our brain that we want to get out through our mouth, but we've got to think of a structure of how we want to start that. And so on and so forth. Okay, well, I like them. Yeah, okay, cool. It's got a little thing on the side. No, let's do it the other way around because the way you showed it in the video was different. So that's the dock. Is there any other features of the dock that we want to talk about? No, that's pretty much what we've got. Gonna have to do that again, aren't we? Yeah. Oh, don't go and clean. Look, maybe it'll clean it quickly because, yeah. I could have just gone into the map like this. So those are the map functions. Okay. Now the dock is also a very sort of handy feature and very cool. Now the dock has got lots of stuff that makes, no. Now I think the dock, a vacuum mop smart thingy. I hope this video, I don't even know what the heck I said. I can't even remember. I can't even remember what I said like a minute and a half ago. Let's try the whole summation again. This in slightly different ways. So for example, if I go, oh, what have I done? Wash mop now. No, 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 no. Ah! That was not the right button to push.